All right, what's up everybody? This is the last trip to the gold mine for 2024. I'm back again at the airport. Do you guys notice it was still dark outside? It's been an amazing year. It really has. It's been an amazing adventure, and I'm glad you guys have come on this adventure with me. I don't have any good news for you right now. So got a lot to update you on this trip. I haven't been out there in about 3 weeks, but the reality is we have faced, I guess, all the stuff you would face if you're taking a hobby mine that you bought in June and turning it into a commercial operation. So we spent a lot of money this year on geologists and studies. And so we did our phase 1 and phase 2 studies, which showed us exactly where the gold was at the mines. And right now we have geological drilling going on. This is the most expensive part of the kind of the discovery phase of finding out where your gold is. We have core drills on site, and we have an area permitted that's about 4 acres, and they have a drilling plan that they put together out there where they're drilling 21 holes over the 4 acres. And doing this, they're going to be able to tell us exactly where the gold is. So they go right down to bedrock when they're drilling this gold. And in some places, bedrock is about 300 feet down. They're going to do it. They're going to go down to bedrock on every time. And what they're doing is they're drilling down with basically I want to say a 5-inch, it is 5 inches, a 5-inch drill, which brings up basically 5 inches wide of dirt all the way up down that whole drilling channel. And all that dirt is, first of all, it's washed so that we use a tiny sluice box to get it down to the concentrate. And then we send it down to the geologist headquarters in Vancouver, and they're gonna run computer scans through it. So basically what they'll be able to do by computer testing the samples at all of these places is tell us exactly how much gold is in the ground in this 4-acre area and where it's at, how deep it is. And then from there, if you can imagine, our biggest challenge by the end of the year was just not knowing exactly where to find the gold. So with these core drilling done and getting the computer reports back from the geologists, it's a form T103NR, I think it is, which is provincial mining document that we can actually use as a real valuation on the mine, on that part of the mine anyway, because it's going to tell us exactly how much gold is in the ground. What's better than that is it's going to tell us where to start in the spring, because at the time I'm shooting this, it's the end of October and it started snowing out there already, and I think we're probably finished actually mining gold for this year, but we'll start in April with an absolute plan. So a lot of the gold that they're finding right now with the drilling, they've already done 5 holes and the gold is about 100 feet down. So what we're going to do over the winter is we're actually going to hire engineers. They're going to help us plan out the pit that we build, because we're going to have to build a pit that's 100 feet down in order to find this gold. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, very familiar face. I'm going to go through security right now and I'll catch you on the other side. All right. What a learning experience has been for me in the last 10 months. It's been 10 months now since we first found this mine. We bought it at the end of July, so we've owned it for August, September, October, 3 months now. But it's been unbelievable, and I'm happy for it because it's really opened my eyes up to a whole new industry with huge potential. But the reality is we used all of our experience to make sure we were getting into something that we could manage, that we could actually make money with. When we first found the mine in December, you guys remember back to episode number 1, we went out, we evaluated the mine. It made sense. We knew there was gold there. We got involved in it. We set up the purchase agreement so we would be able to start mining, so we would see gold and we could do some geological studies before we closed. And we did that. Before June, we upgraded some major equipment. We got a new excavator. We got some new wash plants. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff. You can go back through the video series to see all that. And then we got the geologists in there, and they did the phase 1 and phase 2 studies, which told us exactly where the gold was. And then once we had those done, we closed on the mine and we owned it. It's really funny because thinking back, and I'm not a negative person, I do not believe in karma or, the mine being haunted or cursed or any of this type. I don't believe any of that stuff. I believe in business common sense. But a lot of stuff started going wrong right after we owned it. The excavator we bought for $100,000 broke down. It was completely done. The 2 wash plants that we had bought, we realized it just wasn't going to be enough. So we went out and bought a brand new wash plant. It took us about a month to set that up. Once we set it up, it kept getting stuck with the size of the boulder. So then we had to go out and buy a feeder to put all that in. And all that started working. Then our loader fell in the pond and it was out of commission for a month. Thankfully, the folks at Caterpillar in Williams Lake, the company's called Finnings, jumped in. They came down, they got our loader working again. They got it all cleaned out and it's working again, which was a big blessing to us. And now we're drilling at the end of the season. And it was a tough decision to do because the drilling is going to cost about $250,000. But because we're doing the drilling, now we have all winter to put a real plan in place to turn this into a significant mining operation, a commercial operation, starting in the spring of 2025. And I'm really excited about that. But here's the biggest thing that I realized. We've all heard stories of people that get into gold mining and lose their shirts. We've all heard stories of, gold mining operations that don't win. And obviously doing this now, I've had a chance to really kind of think about that and ask myself, everything we're doing is proving that there is gold there, that it's a viable mine and that we can scale it. And I think the most important thing are the geological studies and the equipment we've been able to buy. And I think that's why most people fail. And I hope that maybe I'm a fresh set of eyes on this business model that can alleviate some of the skepticism. But here's what I know. I've talked to a couple dozen successful miners over the last year as I've been doing this. And one thing that everybody knows is that these areas of British Columbia are rich with gold. Some of the biggest companies in the world are mining there. Cisco Systems has a multi-billion-dollar mining operation going on in Wells, BC right now, which I had a chance to tour. And so we all know it's there. And so I started asking myself, why are so many people failing? And I think I've realized that it comes down to two things. They don't have a real business plan, they don't have significant experience, and most importantly, they don't have money. I guess that was three things. We've obtained all the capital we need to do this and to make it successful and provide significant returns to our lenders. We have the expertise on site to do this, and because we had the money, we did the geological studies to tell us exactly where the gold is. And that's what I'm the most excited about, is we did the right things. And now we're set up for significant yields next season and every season after that. All right, well, I'm gonna fly out to Kelowna, BC. The next time I'll talk to you is getting off the plane in Kelowna. All right, back again. We are on the highway to the gold mine. We landed in Kelowna, British Columbia at 11 a.m. It's me and Mr. Will, the pilot. It's 2:44 p.m. right now, so that means we've been driving for 4 hours. We've got about an hour and a half left to the mine. Every time we come out here, there's a drive involved, so unless it's a nightmare. So most often when we come out here, we fly from Toronto to Kelowna, get in a car, drive 5 hours, and we're there. Other times where I have to go back and drop gold off at the smelting company, I'll fly into Vancouver and then either get another flight up or I've driven up from Vancouver as well. There's just no easy way to get here. And I don't know if I've ever said this before, I probably have, but here's my plan. It's a jet. I know you're gonna think I'm crazy for this, and this isn't going to happen until after we get all our lenders paid off, until this thing is making tons and tons of money. But I've promised my partners that when this thing is 2 or 3 years from now and making tens of millions of dollars a month, which I really believe it's going to, I'm going to buy a jet. And I'm going to buy probably a Praetor 600. If anybody's a jet enthusiast, a commercial jet plane enthusiast, check it out. Praetor 600. It will fly from Toronto to Williams Lake directly. But for now, we do the drive. And it's really great because I'm constantly working. I've got my laptop right here, and we got our big event coming up in a couple weeks. So Will drives, I work. And that has worked out really well for us. But I wanted to take a couple minutes and give everybody a perspective on what's happening right now and my mindset around this. This will make a really good case for a lot of you that really struggle with failure and struggle when things aren't going right. I know a lot of people that have really struggled in their lives, and anytime they're trying to do something and it goes wrong, they quit, they give up. I'm gonna tell you guys that whenever something doesn't go right in one of my businesses, it fuels me. And this is probably the difference between business owners that succeed and make millions and millions of dollars and those that don't, those that fail. Because I've talked to people like Kevin O'Leary and Michelle Romanow and Barbara Corcoran and other celebrity, wealthy billionaires, some of the people, and I ask them the same thing. When a business isn't going well or something's going wrong, how does that affect you? And they all say the same thing. It motivates you, it fuels you. So what's happening in the gold mine right now, if we review what you've seen in the first 10 episodes, Things have been up and down all year. We bought the gold mine. We started seeing gold right away when we were mining. Then things started going wrong. Mostly the equipment was breaking down. So we bought new equipment and things kept breaking down. Then we got the geologist in there and they confirmed that there is literally hundreds of millions of dollars of gold on these claims. And we got really excited about that and we closed on the mine. So now we own the mine. Within 2 weeks of owning the mine, the excavator that we paid $100,000 for, the engine blew. It was gone. The only useful thing for that machine after its engine blew was a paperweight. And that was great, but we didn't have an excavator then. Without an excavator, you can't do this. So we had to go out and start renting little excavators and doing all that, and it was eating through the capital that we put into the project up front. So we found an excavator to start renting. We got back to it again, and the dump truck we were using, which was the one that came with the mine, it was called a rock truck. It failed. It was never working properly from the start anyway. So then we got delayed again. We went out and we bought a new dump truck, well, a used dump truck for $30,000, and it started working. Then we just came to the conclusion that there was no way we were going to get to 10 ounces a day with the 2 wash plants that we had bought. One we got with the mine, the other one we bought on the advice of the person we bought the mine from. And between these 2 little shaker plants, the person we bought the mine from said we should easily be able to do anywhere between 8 and 10 ounces with these 2 machines. But we couldn't do an ounce a day with them. So we decided to go buy a new trommel wash plant, which you guys have seen in the videos. I'm just doing a little recap here for you, just to show you all the issues that have happened. And we really love this trommel because it can move 100 yards of dirt an hour, and you can get an ounce out of 100 yards of dirt. So you could do 10, 15 ounces of gold a day, depending on the dirt you're in. And it was a brand new machine that we bought, so it's going to last us for a long time. Now, we're going to need more of those machines when we open up more sites and expand, but it solved the problem. Challenge was we didn't get that thing set up. We expected we were going to have it set up by the beginning of August. We didn't get it set up to the end of August. So we finally get this thing working, and we had another issue. When we were putting the pay dirt into it with large boulders into it, it would jam the machine. So then we had to go out and buy a feeder. A feeder is another apparatus where you put all of your pay dirt into that first, and it gets rid of the big boulders, and it puts it on a conveyor belt, and then from the conveyor belt it goes into the trommel, so it makes a better system. That took us another 2 weeks. Now we're at the end of September. Things finally start to go well, and one of our guys put our loader in the water and completely submerged it. We can't run the mine without the loader. So we got it out of the water, we let it dry out, we contacted Finnings, which has been an amazing partner for us, and they came out and they literally got it running again. It was unbelievable. And then of course in the middle of that, back in August, while we're having trouble with the wash plants, we also came to the conclusion that the guys that we had on site, they were out looking for different areas on claims where we could find good amounts of gold in the pay dirt. They were doing that by panning and doing some of the prospecting things that these miners understand. We just couldn't find a place that we could get real good gold. So I started talking to our geologist again, and he said, that's why you do drilling. And he had mentioned drilling to us back in July, but it was just so expensive to do it. We realized that we only had about 6 weeks left in the season, and if we wanted to salvage this at all, we should just pay for the drilling, so another $250,000 into it. And on this trip, you're actually going to see the drilling going on. That's one of the things I'm going to do up there. I'm going to show you in this video. That's probably the next time you're going to see me, is when I'm actually showing you the drilling going on. What they're doing is we have a 4-acre area that we have a permit to dig on for the next 10 years. And in our phase 1 and phase 2 geological studies, the geologist said there's a ton of gold here. Now the drillers are there and they're drilling 21 holes equally spaced out over this 4 acres. And from those 21 holes, they're going to tell us exactly where the gold is. Now, this is October 20th today. We don't know how much longer we're actually going to have in this mining season. I need you guys all to pray for us and ask God to keep the snow and cold weather away until the end of November like last year. Because if that happens, they're going to be finished drilling in the next couple of weeks, and we can potentially save the season and get a bunch of gold coming in, because we really haven't gotten a lot of gold. Now, having said that, we've put over, I think it's about 200 ounces of gold we've pulled out of the ground, and we've gotten that money, but it's costing us more. We need to get about 4 ounces of gold a day to pay all our lenders, to pay for our equipment, to pay for the lease, all of that stuff, and we've never done that yet, just because of all the issues. But good things are also happening. So when Finnings, the Caterpillar dealer, found out about our excavator that blew up, they reached out to us and they told us that they have a new program where they'll take an old excavator like that that's dead, they'll bring it into their shop, they'll completely rebuild it so it'll be brand new, And they'll lend us the money to do it over 7 years. So it'll cost about $3,000 a month. We're going to have a brand new excavator when we start in the spring. And they're going to do that with us and find another loader to do that with also. So we've got great partners in this. So why am I telling you this? What's the moral to the story? Every time there's been an issue come up that most people would have just quit or they would have lost their marbles, my mind instantly looks for the good reason in it. I'll give you an example of that. I was talking to Dan yesterday and he said, this drilling's taking longer than we thought. And I believe they're going to get it done. I just don't think we're going to get a chance to do any more gold. And right away I said, well, Dan, you know what? That is fine with me. Because I can keep my lenders happy. They're all my friends. And I'm going to figure out a way just to keep paying them over the winter. I'll invest that money. So what we can actually do is we can take those computer-generated, accurate reports of exactly where the gold is, how deep it is, where it is. We're going to hire an engineer who's going to tell us how big to build the pit, and we're going to spend the next 4 months figuring out how many people we need. We're going to get staff housing on our property that we own out there. We're going to make sure we have all the equipment ready. And April 15th, we are going to go in there guns a-blazing, and we're going to know exactly where to get the gold from, and we're going to do 20 to 30 ounces a day. That's the way my mind thinks. And that's the way it's been through every issue we've had. Yes, did this first year end up the way I wanted it to be? Absolutely not. We were really thinking we could do $1 million in gold recovery this year. We didn't even come close to that. But at the end of the day, we only bought this mine at the end of July. And the people we bought it from were nice enough to let us mine here before so we could get used to what we were doing. And in the last 3 months, we've got a brand new excavator. We've got a great loader that's going to be brand new in the spring. We've got a dump truck. We've got a trommel that can do 15 to 20 ounces a day. We have drilling results that tell us exactly how much gold is there and exactly where it is. We have a 4-acre property that we can put together 10 to 15 staff quarters over these next 4 months. And when we start again mining on April 15th, I'm going to say, we're going to be a commercial mining operation and we're going to bring in a boatload of gold. And that's my piece of advice to everybody that's watching this video series. That's the big thing that I want you to get from this for your own businesses and your own life. Always, always, always make lemonade out of those lemons. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Next time I see you, I'll be talking to you about the drilling. I'll show you guys what's going on there.